Ever since I laid my eyes on these cushion covers at a charity shop, I knew that I wanted them to become a quilted jacket. Mainly because it's already quilted, so there's one less step that I need to worry about. And I also have had this jacket in the back of my mind for some time now. So that's what we're going to be attempting on this video. I'm really concerned about one thing, and that is that I would be working with a very limited amount of fabric. The cushion covers are 67 centimeters square, and there's a zipper in the back. I have also checked some patterns online that are very similar to what I'm going for. If you don't know me, my name is Mia. I am a sewing and all things design enthusiast here on YouTube. I have a hunch that I'm gonna need to be caffeinated for this one. Alright, let's do this. I have all of my pieces, and I think I might have enough. This is where we are at. This would be a very fast project if I wasn't really dizzy and foggy and all of that. But all that remains to be done is sew the two sides together like this and this, and then work on the color, which I haven't chosen a method yet. And now a lot of people do a stent color, so there's two pieces. And I might go for that because it looks more sturdy, and I am looking for something that looks kind of sturdy. I don't want it to flop over. Yeah. This is how it looks right now. I'm really happy to have gone with the extra large. But I like the width of it. I like the arms. They're wider than what I expected. I think it's a good fit, and it also is what I was going for, which is super important. But yeah. Where we are at. Good news, bad news. Bad news is I don't understand how a color stain works, and I'm not willing to learn just now. Good news is I'm gonna reproduce something that I have already made, which is a detachable collar, but just like I did with the bonnet, I'm gonna attach it here. So the process is the following. I'm gonna serge the edge. I'm then going to attach this collar to this jacket with a 3 centimeters seam allowance. After that's done, I'm going to press the seam allowance, top stitch underneath the collar. I think that makes sense. And if I'm still not happy with how it looks on the inside, I might do bias binding because I'm doing it in the rest of the jacket anyways. And I guess I'll get back to you tomorrow. What am I doing? I have to say, this is looking super cute so far. I'm really happy with it. This is the time of day where I'm beat. Here are the new options. I'm not sure about this one, but at least I bought the right length. Things are finally moving. So I ended up deciding on the blue one. I just think it's a nicer contrast. I was looking for information about how to attach bias tape to a round corner, and everybody seems to be doing the slits, just like with the bonnet. And I'll tell you how it goes. But I'm pretty sure that that's gonna work. And then I decided that I was gonna fold it and finish the other side off by hand. Now I know that that's gonna take much longer, but I feel like it's worth it. Other side note, I'm gonna use bias tape to create small loops just like this and have the buttons go through, and this is gonna go inside the bias tape that's gonna finish all of the edges. I was gonna say something else. The buttons, the collar, the pockets. Yeah, I always seem to forget pockets. I don't know if I want to like perhaps do something more fun. I'm thinking about it. I know that the hand stitching is going to take forever, so I still have a lot of time to think about the pockets and what kind of shape do I want to play with. Because rectangles are fine, even like perhaps with the rounder edges. But what about a heart? What about a strawberry? Who knows? This took me an hour and a half. Good morning. So this morning I woke up and I was very much unimpressed with what I had done yesterday. So I have seam ripped the bias binding and I've now pressed it. I'll show you how it looks. It's very much neater. One thing about me is if I'm working in a messy environment, then I'm making mistakes. So this morning, first thing I did was clear everything up and start again. Alright, the collar has been sewn in, and very decently I would even say. What else? Wanted to give you also a close-up for you to see what hand stitching kind of looks like, at least my hand stitching. This is how the corners are looking. I have to say I'm not mad about it. This is how they would look pretty much done. this is where we are at. I've sewn the first seam of the bias tape on almost everything except for this over here where the button loops are gonna go. I was thinking, if you're interested in how I organize my sewing stuff, let me know and I can show you around. It's not the best organization. I still have to figure out a few things, but I could show you what I have going on. Consider this project done, but I have to admit that I'm quite unhappy with how the buttons are sitting in the jacket. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and fix that and then we'll be done.
the finished jacket. I have added a hook on the top of the jacket just to ensure that it sits nicely and that all the buttons remain closed, because that was an issue. If you think that I'm not being ecstatic enough about the jacket, I have to admit that with each video that I make, I become more and more aware of the mistakes that I make, and I'm becoming a harsher critic. But I remain positive. I even think that I might give this project a second go, but not in the near future, that's for sure. If you think you're gonna recreate this jacket and you wanna share, make sure to tag me on Instagram. Here's my handle. Thoughts. I honestly have just one thought, and it's more than a thought. It's a formal apology to hand sewing, to the craft. No, but more seriously, I did not understand the hype behind hand sewing. I thought hand sewing was for people who did not have a sewing machine, and I was so in love with sewing by machine that I thought, why would anybody bother to hand sew a garment if they have a sewing machine? Well, the answer is very simple. It's more precise, it's more intentional, it's usually neater. If you're a good hand sewist, is that the term? I have to say it's also very therapeutic, and I have enjoyed it more than I thought I would. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will be happy and delighted to read them. And if you liked this video, consider subscribing. That would be nice. I would very much like that and enjoy it and be happy about it. Here's a happy dance. Yeah, I'm tired. I guess I'll see you on the next one.